I grew up in Palmdale, California, and I had a really charmed childhood. Nothing ever seemed wrong. My parents, my family, my brothers and sisters, and all of my friends were great. I had nothing to complain about at all. I was a high school senior when 9/11 happened, and just because I felt like it, I took the test to get into the military. I scored very well and was heavily recruited, but I didn't want to go because I had a great life. I was content with my job. My fiance was expecting, and all I ever wanted was to be a father and have a family. So I wasn't going anywhere. But then I started to feel like I was missing something in my life. So I figured since I was good at it, I might as well enlist. I thought that the military might be able to fill some purpose that I was missing. When I was at basic training, I experienced my first loss in the military, and I wasn't even at combat. My 16-year-old brother-in-law was shot and killed at home. And I felt responsible for it because I wasn't there. And my wife was a wreck. My whole family was a mess, and I couldn't take care of them. So I started to drink to make this depression and the sadness subside, and I started sleeping with other women, and I didn't care because I could die any day, and I was 20 years old, and it didn't matter whether I was at combat or just at home in California. I went on tour in Iraq in November 2005 to 2006, and I went on convoy missions, and I loved it. I was on a huge truck behind a huge gun, and I was invincible. One day our truck hit an IED, and I felt the explosion more inside my body than out. And I just remember dirt hitting my face and a large mushroom cloud on the side of the road, and I had no idea what happened. I was injured. My clavicle was broken, among other things, and I was treated incorrectly. I was pretty much just drugged up for 2 weeks until my clavicle healed itself, and they deemed me ready to go back on convoy missions. One night I was ordered to the Kuwait border with the rest of my infantry, and it was too dark to see anything, and to this day I still don't know if I killed somebody. And I have to live with the ambiguity of that every day, and the repercussions will come when they come, and I don't know what they will be. I decided after that mission that it was too heavy for me to be there, so I was honorably discharged and I went home. But I had a really difficult time adjusting to civilian life while I was there. I was diagnosed with severe depression and suicidal ideation. Nothing made me happy and nothing was working. I tried to go to group therapy, but that was unproductive and just all around negative. And so at my lowest point, I attempted suicide in 2007 by overdosing on painkillers. And what followed was worse because they put me in a nut house for a week and then on 24-hour watch for a month. And I didn't want to be watched. I didn't want to take up people's time and space because I didn't feel like I deserved it. And I fell deeper into depression. And I don't know what I did it all for. I had no family, no friends, and no infantry anymore. And everyone seemed like they had their groups, but I didn't belong anywhere. My whole life I felt like I didn't belong. People asked how I was, but it didn't feel genuine. It just felt like they were asking to ask, and even if they were interested to know, I didn't have the language to articulate what was going on with me. I was 23 and I was just angry all of the time at everyone for everything, and mostly at myself because I felt stupid for joining in the first place. And I felt like an idiot because I was just a sucker for the propaganda machine. I had no idea what to do, where to go, or who to turn to because nobody understood around me because nobody had been at combat. I felt especially isolated in my hometown because it was 2008 and everyone there hated Obama. And I was a light-skinned intellectual and I reminded them of him. And I was hated for it. At my lowest point, my dad took me to the VA in Palmdale. And through all the crap that happened there, I finally got help and I found a pamphlet for PTSD. And for the first time, I finally understood everything that was going on with me. Why I was so angry and why I couldn't sleep. It all made sense. And after some time, I was able to move out of the valley, which I'm sure would have killed me if I stayed. I'm a Black veteran, and I feel like I fought for a country that doesn't care about me. I know I'm an American, but it doesn't mean the same thing that it used to. I now understand everything that happened to me, but I didn't always. And my body goes back into combat mode every July because it's really hot and there are fireworks and it's all a trigger that I have to deal with. And I have to work through it every single day. I feel like it doesn't have to be this hard. I feel like we can all try to understand each other if we really put forth the effort. And it's a challenge on a daily basis, but I think that we can do it. My name is Elena Ferranti, and I empathize with a 34-year-old Black veteran, and our blood bleeds red.